All right, welcome back to the KnivesFAST channel, guys. It is time for another review from QSP. So say hello to Ren and Stimpy, Powder Toast Man Logging TV, and let's get started on the KnivesFAST channel. Guys, this is the QSP Rhino sample or prototype from the Apex Pass Around group. Thank you, David, for sending this. Now, I first got to check this out at Blade Show in Atlanta months ago. And this one is finally made its way to me as a review sample. And these are going to be coming, I think, very soon. And we'll talk more about that as they come. But this is QSP's entry into the premium knife game. You know, guys, they focused more on kind of, budget items like the Penguin and other things like that. Shoot, I'm blanking on the rest of them. The Osprey, of course, the Pelican. But, this is a very high-end knife. Now, you have titanium flat side scales with this cool chamfering, which kind of acts like, places for your fingers, and we'll talk more about that. You do have a milled-out lanyard hole, and you have, a frame lock here. Your screws are countersunk and not sticking out. I mean, they catch your finger a little bit, but barely. I mean, they're just barely sticking up. You have this killer backspacer in Damascus. It is beautiful, guys. It's blue and purple and pink and cool, and it's got this, what I'm calling radial or screw-like jimping on it. More like milling, but it's jimping is exactly what it is. And then you've got this Damascus clip with a ceramic ball. I believe it's ceramic, but it really cool. To me, goes in the pocket fine, comes out fine. I know some people don't like the ball clips, but I actually very much like this one. I like the style of it. You do have a little bit sticking out of the pocket, but not much. It is right hand only. And just a ridiculously gorgeous knife. Now, if we give it a flick, which I'm going to do using the fuller, you do have this beautiful fuller here all the way out. You do have some cool swedging. And, of course, you have this radial jimping. Come on, focus. Radial jimping up top that stops a little short here because of how it's done. When I first held it in Atlanta, I thought to myself, you can kind of feel like when you push, your finger's going to want to go to the side. But if you just use it like you use a knife, you're not pushing. So, the jimping works perfectly. I mean, it really, really does. There's your M390, which is the steel in this satin finish blade. There's a couple weird lines in the grinds. I think, maybe that's due to it just being a prototype. Hopefully that'll be sorted. Again, swedging here to bring that tip down a little bit. Fairly thick stock, but nice and tall, so it comes down to a very thin edge. Let's just get, I only have a little tiny piece of cardboard here. That's great. But I've cut with this one already quite a bit. It is extremely cutty, slicey, whatever the word. I mean, look at that. It just cuts through stuff like butter. I mean, it is... The edge geometry on this is absolutely phenomenal. It is, well, I was going to say it's a flat grind, and I'm 90% sure it is. Yes, it's a flat grind. Well, no. All right, hold on. Maybe that explains it. All right. It does appear to be a hollow, guys. It's a very shallow hollow, but it does appear to be a hollow grind. So I stand corrected, and I hope I'm right. Again, this is more of an overview than a review because it is a prototype. Now, there are changes coming. Oh, by the way, lock bar axis is not my favorite. I wish there was a little bit more, but it does move. There is a steel lock bar insert. It does move. It is a fairly stiff lock bar because the distance of it is not really long. You do have a nice recess here, but it's a little stiff. I'm just being honest here. And I don't know if that's one of the things they're going to fix. Now, because it's stiff, it ends up with only like a 10 or 15 on the lock up there. But it's locked up solid. no blade play, no rock, not going anywhere. Just wish there was a little more access. Again, no stick, no anything like that. Dead center. And on the action, now you do have some good jimping here. It flicks out really nicely. And what I use is the Fuller. Comes out really great with that detent. The detent is great there. And with the thumb, now you got to keep your finger off the lock bar. But you can definitely do that. I have my finger on the lock bar the first time. You can flick anywhere in that channel, guys, that Fuller. And again, the detent is really nice. It's, no real detent lash. Well, maybe there's a tiny bit. There's a tiny bit of lash there. But it's not, again, it's not going anywhere. It's fine. It comes out really well. Really easy middle finger flicker. Really, really nice. Now, ever since these came out, people want to know one thing. And I know this is going to be brought up in the comments, so I'm just going to hit it right here off the top. Well, 6 minutes in. It is an expensive knife. And I said that to begin with, guys. This is going to be $358. But again, you have this crazy milling. You have M390 steel. It is a shallow hollow grind. You have Damascus clip, a Damascus and milled backspacer. You do have weight reduction inside. It's just up to each person. If you think it's too much, then please, don't feel pressured by me to get it. I'm literally just showing you guys options, and you can go from there. Now, I don't really have specs, so we're going to do this ourselves. The weight is 4.37 ounces, which I think is fine for this particular knife. Our comparisons are the Ontario Rat 1, which is going to be significantly longer both in the handle and in the blade, and I'm not really lined up with the pivot. There we go. And the Rat 2. Now, guys, it's funny. The Rat 2 is actually fairly close lengthwise. So there you go. Now, let's get our measurements here since I don't really have specs. So this knife is backwards. This knife is about 7 1/4 overall, 3-inch cutting edge, and like 3.5 on the blade length, 4.5 on, I think that's what it's going to be. Let's see. No, 4, right at 4 1/4. Let's just double check this. Okay, 3 1/4 on the blade length, 3-inch of cutting, and 4 inches on the handle, and that comes out about right. So there you go, guys. Really, really cool knife. And again, it is an absolute cutter. Now, ergonomics, let's talk about that. I wish it was a little bit longer. This thing is fantastic up front. Unfortunately, my pinky ends up on this edge right here, on the hill. There's just nowhere to choke up. Great sharpening choil, by the way. There's really nowhere for me to get this pinky in a comfortable position. It's right there. Now, a lot of you are going to have smaller hands than me, and this is going to be magnificent. It's just, I just feel like my pinky, if my pinky was more like this, that would be absolutely perfect. But when you wrap your hand, that's where I come up and I'm on that. I just wish it was a tiny bit longer. The other thing that I know for a fact they're working on is this is supposed to be a front flipper. I absolutely cannot front flip this. I have tried again and again. Very stout detent. David says they are working on making that a usable front flipper. It is currently not, at least for me, but I would flick it anyway. If this was my knife, I would flick it all day long. You would never see me front flip this knife just because I don't like front flipping. And I know some of you always think I'm crazy for saying that, but that's okay. So that is your overview of the QSP Rhino. What do you guys think? Now, again, I know there's going to be a lot of comments about the price. It is what it is, guys. This is a very high-end production knife. I don't think the price is out of range, in my opinion. Would I buy it? Maybe not. But that's not the point of doing a review. The point is to give you guys options and to let you know what I think of the knife, which I think it's great, with a few exceptions, like I wish it was a little bit longer. So give me a thumbs up. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. And guys, all I can say is I appreciate each and every one of you. And I'm so thankful for David sending this along. And thanks for watching the Knives Fast channel.